All right, guys. Good morning, good afternoon, wherever you are watching me from. I am here to make some corrections and bring to us some notice of some things that we really need to talk about and have knowledge on. Okay. Kindly drop any question that you have or um, any form of confusion that you might be having with your work or error or warning, whatever it is. Kindly drop it in the comments so that we will be able to address it. Okay, firstly, before I start anything, when we require you to send your pictures for your activity pictures at least once in 3 days, this is what we expect: a picture of you mapping, and it is basically just you, your laptop, your devices, and whatever. You can just ask somebody to snap you and let it be something similar to this. So I have seen some people just snapping just their laptop, just the laptop interface. Some people is just maybe half of their head and everything will be cut off. No, please. So when we request that your picture should be sent, let it be something like this. It might not be the same angle as this one or the same angle or whatever it is, but let it be something similar to this. Let it show you actually mapping, not just you pressing the system or whatever it might be, but let it show you mapping. So that is correction number one that we want to make on these notes. Okay, then we move to the next issues, which is, let me see here, errors. So we have been having some issues with a lot of people uploading their work without actually looking out for these warnings and errors that JOSM brings up for most of us using JOSM anyways. Please, it is note that please, it is very, very not acceptable when you upload your work when these errors are actually shown. I'll go into JOSM and show you where these errors pop up and how to resolve some of these errors. But please note, it is very important that when you want to upload and the upload brings an error, you have an error showing, you should please, this particular sign shows an error. I'll show you in JOSM where it shows. So you should pay attention to resolving the error, whatever the error can be. Okay, so let me see. So these are some of the errors that we will be working on: crossing building highway, crossing building residential area, missing tags, overlapping identical land use, unclosed ways, unnamed ways, and we have other 17 errors. Okay, here, so these are just examples of the kind of warnings that we can have. Errors are different. They are much more stronger than warnings. Errors wouldn't even allow you to upload the work because there's an error. So a warning can be a wrongdoing, but the JOSM might pardon you to just upload it. But it is very wrong and unacceptable to upload your work with an error, okay, or a warning. It is very unacceptable. Okay, so there are some warnings that, however, you are permitted to ignore. For instance, unnamed ways. Unnamed way is an error that possibly you don't know the name. You might be a local of Sangwater, but you don't know the name of that particular road that is being mapped. So it is excusable or pardonable for you to ignore this particular error. Another error, warning. Sorry, I keep using errors for warnings. I just keep using them interchangeably. So accept me when you hear me say error, know that I also mean warning, please, for just this purpose. Another warning that can be overlooked is this missing tag: building construction without construction. So the issue with this one is the application or the programmers of this work want us to tag a building that is under construction as construction, then add an additional tag to tell that is that construction, is it an apartment, is it an industry, what is it? They expect us to give what type of construction it is, of which we don't really know. We can see a building under construction, but we don't know what they want to do with it. Maybe it is an apartment, maybe it is an industry, maybe it's an office. We don't know. So this is why this two as an error, as a warning, is pardonable. So these two are pardonable. They can be ignored just to move over. But you see, overlapping buildings, building crossing highways, crossing residential areas, unclosed ways, they cannot be ignored. Please, I am begging, they need to be resolved before an upload is made. Okay, let's fly into JOSM so that we can see some of these things. I sent some warnings into the some warnings and / notifications into the WhatsApp group so that we all would know and be familiar with these things. Please, let's read them thoroughly as I'll be explaining some of them here. Okay, so this is JOSM. It is open, right? And moving to those warnings and errors that we saw initially, I will try to make or simulate some errors or warnings here so that we can see how they are being made as a mistake and the error or warning sign that will come up when we make such mistakes. Okay, so let me see. Building crossing highway. So these are residential ways. Also, there are some instructions on ways that I will drop, but currently for now I'm not dropping it now. I'll need to make some discussions before we drop those warnings. But let's say, for instance, now I have a road here, or buildings are close by and this road is overlapping like this, is overlapping on buildings. The moment I want to upload, it should give me good. Can you see a warning? 12 warnings. Building crossing highway. It's an example of the first error or warning we have here. Okay, so they told us here already that warnings, errors, usually this should be fixed. It should not be left like that. Warnings, fix these when possible. Orders, information hints, expect any false entry. So expect many false entries. So warnings can be fixed if it is possible, but errors must be fixed. That is just the standard. That's the same layman explanation of what we mean here. Okay, so now we can see this popping. If I decide to close this now, I'll say cancel for it to cancel the upload. Now, when you move to the right hand side of your screen, let me see if I can zoom in so that we can see this clearly. Good. You will see on the validation results tab here, we have the warning sign and the number of warnings we have here. Clicking on this plus button, it will bring every other form of warning that you have here, just like we have in this case now. You see, there are so many other warnings that we have here, right? So the same way, when we switch, we also have just one here because it is just one error that I made, obviously, from this place, right? So now you click on this plus button for you to see the rest of the warnings. Click on one, right click and zoom into the problem. We can obviously see that this is the problem. So what does this warning require me to do? It simply requires me to just shift the road to align with the road. Yes, so that they wouldn't be on any of the buildings. See, this building is not lapping well as it should. So all these things you should look out for. So by the time I shift it now and I run the validation tool again using this validation tool, you see all the warnings have cleared off, right? So let me try uploading again and see now. You see directly it brings me to the upload bar. So this is an example of one of the warnings. Also, Let me try to simulate another warning. So let me select the build tool and click on this, then draw a building. Now I have a validation tool that is already giving me that this is a warning. Okay, so if you notice now, these two are glued together. Let's try to upload to see the warning. It will pop up. So sometimes this is the problem. It might not even show you that you have a warning. It might not show, and this is a problem already. Okay, I'll come and run the validation tool again, and now you can see the validation tool is telling me there are 15 warnings. Click on them, you can see so many of them now this time around. So many of them this time around. We have building causing residential area, connecting nodes without physical tag. So let me see what it is. These are just extra nodes that are just lying down without nothing connected to them. So how do I fix these connecting nodes? I click and delete them one after the other. Zoom into the problem, click and delete. See now, this is a land use overlapping buildings. So I can just click on the nodes, also adjust them, ensure that they are not lapping over buildings. Okay, these are also connecting nodes. Delete this, delete this. The moment I'm deleting them, they are going off from the warning section. Zoom in to see the problem, delete it. Zoom in to see the problem, delete it. You can see crossing building. I just adjust it so that it doesn't cross the building, because for my level I am not a validator. I'll just allow the validator to do his work. That is my assumptions for now. Okay, this one, zoom into problem. This is an extra one, delete it, and that error, that warning is gone. So they say building crossing residential area. That's one of the warnings that we also have there. Okay, so let's right click, zoom into the problem. You see it's a residential area space that has been carved out by somebody. So I'll just try to shift it so that it will not touch any building. Okay, so that later on the validator can come and do his own work, since he has more knowledge on this kind of warnings than I do. Okay, so let's zoom into problem. I think I fixed this one the last time. Yeah, I fixed it while I was deleting other things. Okay, I fixed some of these ones. Okay, so overlapping buildings. Overlapping building is one of the most common errors still, where you see buildings on buildings. Please take out, if you are the one that just did something on somebody's work, take out your own and let the other person's work align properly. That solves overlapping building. Way terminate on area. Let's zoom into problem and see. So let's see. So I think you see a way has linked up with an area. This is area marking, and this is a way that are linked up with it. So nothing normally joins, because we can see from the tagging, you can see from the tag that this is a residential highway. But the moment I click on this other one, we can see from the tag that it is a land use. So nothing joins the two of them. So why are they connected here? It shouldn't be. Okay, it shouldn't be. So what I'll do for this one is I'll just click on this, then press G on my keyboard to unglue it. And since if this is where I am sure the road ends, I'll just leave it there and adjust this one like this. Okay, so I have separated them. When the validator goes there, he would see the issue and fix it by himself. All I have done is to separate them here and leave it the way it is. So things that are more than you ask. Warnings that look like you cannot solve them, ask before you upload. If the validator says you should upload, he will go and fix it. He or she will go and fix it. Then it is fine. So for this one, I think I've been able to resolve the issue. So let me run the validation tool again, and we can see that there are no warnings. Okay, let's try to upload and see. There are also no warnings. So sometimes it is good you run these things a few times before you run your upload. Run the validation tool again, no warning. That means there is no issue. But then I also want to point out something in this work. If I scroll to some places, you will see that there are construction buildings here that have been left just like that. There are other forms of buildings that have not been completely mapped in this work. So I just want to bring it to our notice. Yes, we also have this as a form of issue that we listed in the correction we are to make. So when you see buildings like this, obviously you can see that this is a hole in the building. How do I fix this? We've said this multiple times in trainings. These are called multi-polygonal buildings, multi-polygons. Okay, so how do you map this? So first of all, let me assume this wasn't mapped at all. So I'll just take this out. I'll bring it back when I'm done. I'm not saving this work. So, but let me assume this is a fresh work. What I'll first do is to select the build tool and draw this first one outside. Secondly, still select the build tool, draw the second one inside. It is showing building inside building. That's because I'm using a validation tool. That is why all these errors are popping up like this. But on yours, it will not show anything like that. It is when you go to upload now. Let's try to run the validation tool. You see one warning, and it's already highlighting it as a warning because what? It is a building inside building. So it shouldn't go like that. So how do I fix this? I will select one of the buildings, hold down shift on my keyboard. I'll hold down shift on my keyboard and select the other building. The two of them are selected. Then I'll use Ctrl B to make them to become one. And you would notice from your in your tags that this has been labeled multi-polygons. Okay, if you click on multi-polygon, you see one is outer, one is inner, two segments. Okay, so let me close it and bring it back to your notice. So this is how, so this time around, let's run the validation tool again. It is not an error because this issue has been fixed. So most times you will see buildings with holes in them. Please, this is how you should map them. It is very essential you know this. It is very essential. I think I also have some few, so this is an example. I think I saved this as an image when I was mapping to show us an example. Some houses have solar panels on them. Do not mistake them for holes. For instance, what we have here looks like a solar panel on top of the roof, not a hole. It is quite different from what I have here, which here indicates it is a hole. So be very cautious to know that you are not mapping a solar panel on top of a roof as a hole. I saved this as a very good example to show us some of these misconceptions and mistakes that can be made. Okay, this now is clearly a hole in the building. And in fact, yes, so this should be a multi-polygon. Okay, also I think I saved this as a picture to also show that this is a hole in a roof, not a solar panel. So these are the things. This one, however, looks more like a solar panel, not a hole in the roof. So these are some things that you should take cognizance of. It is very important. This one, I could say it is a solar panel, I could say it is a hole. But just be tactical about your decision making. Just know what you are doing. Be sure that this looks like this before you make such an error. But be convinced that some of them, however, do look like holes, even from the way you see their shadows and their inner cavity. Okay? So I think I made some of these. Yeah, so this one clearly looks like a hole. There's nothing like this looks like a panel, solar panel. So this is why I made this, highlighted the two of them, then used Ctrl B to select them as multi-polygons. Okay, so I think this is one of the issues that I hoped to address. You can see obviously this looks like a solar panel. So I really hope this is an issue that has been rectified. Okay, let me look through if there are other issues that we hoped to rectify. Also, let me go back to JOSM now. When you want to upload your work, please take note of this. Sometimes you have conflicts to resolve. I'll drop a separate video on how to resolve conflicts. I'll drop a separate video on that. But for now, when you click on your upload button, please do not just say I would like to somebody to review my edit and upload. No, make sure you come to this change set place, this particular box. Yeah, make sure you go there, click your mouse before the hashtag and give a comment. You can say buildings mapped with your space, then leave the rest of the hashtag. Don't delete anything, just add your own before you now say I would like somebody to review my edits, then upload changes. You can interchangeably have like 2 or 3 sentences that you'll be putting anytime you want to make your upload. So this time around I can say buildings mapped. The next one I can say I have mapped buildings. The next one I can just say I have mapped. So I'll just be using them interchangeably. This is because sometimes users get blocked because they have been using the same change set over and over. This is what is called a change set. This place, change set comments. This change set comment, they use the same change set comments over and over. So the AI or the computer seeing all these things, the admin, it automatically blocks you out. It blocks you out thinking that you are just making uploads without making any changes. So please endeavor to interchangeably put some sentences or comments here before you make your uploads. This is very important, especially for people that are being blocked. If the admin notices you are just making uploads, change set comment uploads without making a unique change to it, it can lead to you being blocked. It can lead to your work not even reading. So some of us that are seeing that maybe we are uploading buildings and it's not counting, this can also be an issue as to a reason as to why your buildings are not counting. So please endeavor to add unique comments before the hashtag, then upload your work. That is another thing. Lastly, I think before I would close out on this, map with AI, it is just a feature that helps you to map. That doesn't mean you should not edit the work that map with AI gives you. So when you run your map with AI and it says, oh, these are buildings that it has given you, that doesn't mean you should just switch it to your OSM layer and upload. No, please make updates, edit them where the AI doesn't put buildings. Let me look, for instance. I'm sure this person that mapped here possibly missed out on some buildings, or some buildings are being mashed up together. I can quite clearly see that the imagery here is not too clear, but see, this was what map with AI gave the person here, but the person just did it like that. These are multiple buildings in one. So these are the kind of things that map with AI will do for you that you as a human being need to correct. So it's not everything that map with AI gives you that you just take. You need to look at them, make adjustments to them, and ensure that you trace them to the buildings properly. Not that you just accept them just like that. Okay? You won't just accept them just like that. If not, these are the kind of things that come up, and at the end of the day, your work will be seen as not a good work. So please, let's also endeavor to fix some of these things. Map with AI is not perfect. It is just assisting you. So make modifications to buildings before you now say you have uploaded your work. Please, I am sounding this as a warning, because these are some of the things that we'll be looking at in our data quality moving forward. Don't just use map with AI just like that. Ensure that you make edits wherever there are no buildings. See now, like this place now, just a very good example of what I was saying. Map with AI brought this for the person that mapped this place. The person used the features of the map with AI, but what of this place that buildings have been left out? The person didn't actually map them. So you are expected to manually map these ones out. Manually. Since map with AI couldn't do the work for you, you are expected to do the work by yourself. Okay? So please, let us be very cautious of all these things. Let us be very cautious and ensure that we do the right thing that is ought to be done. Okay? So that is that with the map with AI feature. Sometimes it is not expected to work everywhere. So if it doesn't work in a place, please accept it that it doesn't work and do your mapping manually with your hand. It is not by force that you must use the AI. Where it doesn't give you avenue for it to be used, kindly use your own hand to manually map it out. Okay? Please, data quality is very essential. In as much as we are also running for the numbers, it is essential that we maintain having qualitative data. Please, that is one of our primary aims. So if we don't have qualitative data, then we have a big problem. We have a very big problem. So I think I have addressed some or most of the errors or problems or warnings that we have as regarding our mapping process so far. Okay, and yes, I was also being asked to tell us that kindly upload your buildings in batches. So I have done some edits now. Let's say Map with AI gave me everything here as work for me to do. Just add the buildings bit by bit. Add this thing bit by bit. Select them bit by bit. Okay, when I make selection of all these that I want to use as an AI and I add it to my OSM layer, I should first make edits to this building. Don't do more than 100 buildings or 150 buildings and upload. Okay, when you upload in batches, it shows the admin that you know what you are doing. But when you just pack like 2,000 buildings, 1,000 buildings and you upload at once, those are the kind of reasons or things that the admin looks at and blocks you out. So please, it even saves you a lot of wasted effort, because sometimes you might do a lot of work, massive work, and your JOSM will just crash and you have lost it. So bit by bit, as you are doing 50 buildings, 100 buildings, upload so that you can save your work. Your buildings will be counting. Okay, so please learn to upload in batches, not everything at once, 500 buildings at once. No, even the admins are looking at you, and once they see that, they would first block you before they go and start cross checking if you actually did the right thing. So you could be doing the right thing and you will still be blocked because you are uploading in large numbers. So please, let's also take note of that, as that could be one of the factors they look at in blocking people. So please let us take note of all this that I have listed out. Some of the errors and challenges that we have been having will still be addressed moving forward. Thank you very much, humanitarian mappers.